What's good, y'all? It's your boy Ross back at it again with another video. So we're going to check out 10 WWE wrestlers who ruined their bodies wrestling too long. This is the side effects of taking all this type of punishment for 20, 30 plus years in the ring. Your body's not meant to take that type of punishment that long. So over time, injuries start to develop. You end up with situations where individuals need to get surgery. But guess what? They can't really get surgery at the time because they're trying to stay at the top of the card. They're trying to make as much money. So a lot of times they deal with these injuries for so long that when they end up finally retiring, their bodies is shot. Their bodies are not once what it was. It's the same as if you watch an athlete play basketball or especially football, and the amount of impacts that they deal with all the time. Eventually when they retire, they have to get a lot of stuff done to their body just to have a comfortable way of living the rest of their life, you know. So it's just one of those things where this is why you also want to show respect to the wrestlers that put their bodies on the line for our entertainment. When people say it's fake, ask these guys like The Undertaker, Mick Foley, some of these legends, Stone Cold Steve Austin, you know, the surgeries that they've had to get, the broken bones, the torn ligaments, how they've had to get more surgeries after they retired because their bodies are so shot from doing the same moves and taking the same bumps over and over and over. Tell them it's fake. When people say that, I instantly cringe because I be like, no, bro. You go out there and do this for 20 plus years, I promise you, your body will tell you this is very real and you need to fix me. So we're going to check this out. Appreciate all love, support. Let's get right into it, man.
1, 2.
Is this on?
The roar of the crowd and thrill of performing has resulted in plenty of wrestlers working past their prime.
I had to accept that it took less and less to hurt me worse and worse for longer and longer periods of time.
Even when age and injuries have caught up with them, they still went out there to put on a show, for better or worse.
He came inches, centimeters away from, breaking his neck.
For this video, we'll be looking at those who hung on for too long.
And by the time they had me wrestle, I looked like an old man. Taking those 9 months off, especially at my age, close to 50, I shut down. My body shut down.
Be it for financial reasons.
I went back to work because I needed the money, plain and simple.
Or for the rush of that one last pop.
He just hung on too long. It's not because of the money. It's not because of their ego. It's because of this relationship that you get, this feeling you get in your veins. It's an exchange of positive energy that you can't.
And that's also a fair point too. Sometimes people don't even do it for the money. It's just, this is all they know. So it's hard to let that go. It's hard to let that adulation go from the fans. It's hard to let that adrenaline rush. Sometimes it's not even about the money. It's just, I just want to go out there one more time to get that fix. Because you have to have that itch for professional wrestling to be willing to put yourself through this type of pain for so many years.
Get anywhere else.
Today we highlight 10 WWE wrestlers who worked way past their prime. Mick Foley wanted to do one more run for WWE in 2012, where he would have worked the program with Dean Ambrose as a way to bring the FCW talent up from developmental.
I need to be held accountable. I don't care what you have to say. You're a criminal. You're a criminal, Mick. You're a liar.
After shooting the angle with Ambrose on social media, Foley was then told by a neurologist,
Get under 290, but I could not work out hard or else I would injure myself.
Despite having already run up so many miles on the clock, the hardcore legend still took some outrageous risks with TNA, doing so in every match he performed in.
No, he's trying to put Jared back in the Billy Bob. Look at this.
Oh my God.
Oh, man, Foley. Oh, he's going for the elbow.
Drops the elbow right out here on the concrete.
So the orthopedic guy, because I've been doing this 25 years, this is one of the worst tips I've ever seen. To be honest, I don't know how you're still walking.
Though Mick was a lot slower and less mobile than before, given his age and condition,
Jeez.
this resulted in him receiving numerous concussions within a short space of time.
Team 3D from the ring.
God.
Did you see what happened to Mick Foley?
Oh my God.
Foley up.
Slammed into the barbed wire.
I started looking, kind of ignoring the fact that I was getting concussed in just about every comeback match I had. And then there was one, it was just Samoa Joe giving me forearms, but I'm seeing stars.
And even though he didn't know it at the time, it was the final nail in the coffin for Foley's career.
Nash worn down sufficiently.
Oh
God, did you hear that?
Oh, wow.
Comes right in abyss. Left hole slam. directly into the tent. Oh my God! Oh my God!
Oh my God, bro.
I
Oh,
had to accept that it took less and less to hurt me worse and worse for longer and longer periods of time.
Wow.
And my big regret is that the moment I put the period on that sentence, that I didn't retire and say, I should never be in the ring again. I'm disappointed in myself, and I think it was a real lesson in appreciating what you have.
Mick attempted another return in 2024 for one final match. He was slimming down and getting in shape.
I'm taking it slow. I'm doing the DDP yoga. I'm back in the pool. And I'm feeling pretty good.
I'm hoping when it's done, there'll be a sense of peace among the fans and a sense of inner peace for myself.
But once again, all the years of head injuries came to the forefront. Foley suffered a concussion while training, which squashed all plans of a comeback.
If I can get concussed from something I'm not even aware of, then some of the things that I was thinking of doing and hoping of doing in a big match would not be smart.
Foley's run in TNA did more damage to his body than anything, but Ric Flair's done more damage to his legacy given the circumstances. Flair had one of the most perfect retirements in wrestling history. However, after going through...
Yeah, bro. I really, truly do wish he just would have let it go after that fantastic match he had with HBK. I mean, it don't get no better than that. That match, go watch it. HBK, Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair. Ric Flair loses, he retires. And that storyline that they did, if Ric Flair loses any more matches, he has to retire. That was great. That was so good. It was like, I watched that live. It was just one of those moments where it's like, yeah, bro, this was perfect. And he couldn't let it go. He could not let it go. I wish he would have at this point, but he couldn't let it go.
For another divorce, Flair got back in the ring a year removed from hanging up his boots. He did this to work against Hulk Hogan on a tour of Australia. The tour itself had plenty of issues, but the matches between the Nature Boy and the Hulkster went down quite well. The Nature Boy had reportedly asked Vince McMahon if he could return to action, but after the chairman refused, Rick knew TNA was the only place he could wrestle and still make decent money.
I didn't think I was up to it by any means because I wasn't taking anything serious at that point in my life. That was just, marriage number 4 turning into a catastrophe. I went back to work because I needed the money, plain and simple.
For the next year and a half, Flair wrestled numerous matches for the promotion. He was still...
And I get it. It's easy for us to say, oh, I wish you would have stayed, retired. But if he needed the money, I understand that. Do what you got to do. That's what he loves to do. Who am I to say? I just wish, things would have stayed the way it was. But once again, this is his personal life, so I'm not here to tell anybody how to move. I just, from the outside looking in, not knowing all the personal situations that he was going through, I think that was the perfect way to end off his career. But, he had to do what he had to do.
The Nature Boy, but it felt more like we were watching Mickey Rourke's Randy the Ram character from The Wrestler, as Nate was too old to be wrestling, to the point where it was quite hard to watch.
I don't think anybody wanted to see Rick back in the ring. I think Rick looked at it as, okay, here's another payday for me. Here's a contract. I'm going to go do this.
That kendo stick with little Rude. Double R spine buster by Rude on a dazed, worn out Flair. Look at Mick. Look at Mick.
Oh my God, bro.
Barbed wire. Right into the face.
Dude.
Flair suffered a broken bursa sac in his left arm, taking a superplex from Sting. Are you just thankful that it's almost over?
Yeah.
He's hurt, right?
Yeah. Well, I wasn't worried about hurt as long as I just know how embarrassing it must look. See, I couldn't even get off my side there, see it?
Flair wrestled his final match in 2022, aged 73, but the less said about that, the better. Tony Atlas has summed up his career as too much too soon. In 1983, he was one half of the WWF Tag Team Champions with Rocky Johnson, but by the late 80s, the former Mr. USA was homeless, sleeping on a park bench addicted to substances, after going through a messy divorce.
This here was my home, right here.
Damn.
It's where I slept.
Atlas was on the verge of ending it all before his future wife took him in off the streets. Tony then got a second chance with the World Wrestling Federation in 1990, where he wrestled for 8 months. Though at the end of the decade, he was struggling to make ends meet once again. Atlas wasn't hooked on anything possible back then. Basically, if you didn't work for WWF or WCW, there was a limit to the amount of money one could make on the independent scene. WWE came calling again in 2006 for the Hall of Fame, and then to become Mark Henry's trainer on the road and manager on screen. After being released in 2010, Tony went back to working the independents. months, where he still wrestles several matches a year now aged 71.
I'm not financially secure. I'm not that well educated. The only thing I got left is my health and strength.
Atlas is doing better these days compared to before, but his career remains a cautionary tale. Like Atlas, Jake the Snake Roberts' post-prime struggles have been well documented, as he wrestled far past his prime out of necessity.
It was basically a necessity, just to continue. And you took pills to go to sleep. You took pills because of your pain. You took cocaine to wake up so you could perform. You took go to sleep. You took sleeping pills.
1999's Beyond the Mat followed Jake during his lowest point, where he was estranged from his family, wrestling small shows while working under the influence of alcohol and substances.
A lot of the guys that night put in bad performances just because they were out of shape or past their prime, but with Jake, he was legitimately on planet Neptune.
When I caught up with him a few hours later, he was doing crack.
It was about as far down as you could get in wrestling without starting over. Jake stayed like this for many years, almost succumbing to his demons, relegated to working in high school gyms to fund his addiction.
Oh, God. No, God.
Damn,
Jake right behind him and takes a knee to the head.
You hate to see
but
that,
he holds
bro.
on. But Jake couldn't hold on for long.
And then he called us up, and Jake told us straight up if we didn't get him some crack, then he wasn't going to come to our show.
It was a tragic sight and a warning of how historically the full-time wrestling life could eat someone up.
They say when you hit bottom, it's time to stop digging. You know, that's real easy to say, especially when you're sitting on top looking down at the dumbass that's digging his own grave. I've got 8 children. I've got 4 that still don't want much to do with me, and I understand why, because I wasn't there.
Though unlike so many others, Robert's story has a happy ending. He turned his life around after being taken in by DDP.
It's called the accountability crib for a fucking reason. If you want to stay with us, you don't drink ever again.
This is the greatest high I've ever been on. DDP yoga, I've lost 65 pounds so far.
Page got Jake
That's
healthy
awesome,
again
bro.
while helping him get and remain sober, allowing Roberts to maintain this clean lifestyle.
Dallas saved my life. I know that.
That's awesome,
Today, Jake
bro.
manages various AEW talent on TV and doesn't have to wrestle for outlaw indie shows anymore to make money.
My history will not be my destiny.
Hey man, shout out to DDP, man. He understands because he was a part of that generation of wrestlers that he knows what it was like to be out there on the road majority of the year, to deal with the injuries because you didn't want to lose your spot because you're trying to make your money for your family, to dealing with the substance abuses and all that. He knows what it's like. And for him to actually have that and help other wrestlers from that time period to try to get their lives together, that's a blessing, bro. That's a God-sent individual, and I love it, bro. I love that, bro.
My past will not look like my future.
Dusty Rhodes wasn't in the best financial situation at the start of the 2000s. This resulted in him stepping back in the ring where he featured for Extreme Championship Wrestling.
Right away, Dusty goes to the bionic elbow. He drives the elbow into that laceration.
Sometimes people come back.
And even though he was long past his peak, now in his mid-50s,
to get,
Dusty's memorable
make
run
ends
in
meet.
ECW helped get his confidence back, as well as providing some financial security he needed at the time.
ECW gave my father his confidence back, and I can never, ever repay you for that. Thank you very much.
This was actually a really good promo, bro. Like this, if y'all remember this was really good because this was real. This wasn't like, obviously they played it into the storyline, but this was real emotions. So this was really good.
Very much.
Also in 2000, Dusty started up his own promotion called Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling, which ran for 3 years and saw him wrestle on numerous occasions.
My dad had started his own independent promotion. It was
Dusty worked close to 100 matches.
Dusty going up top. Drops down off the third rung with the elbow. Yeah! Big bionic elbow to the chest. Cover two.
Sure, Rhodes was limited in what he could do, but when it all came down to it, this was still the American Dream mixing it up and putting on a show for the audience.
Piper situation on WWE.com.
Oh, watch out for that bionic elbow there, Nikki. You don't want any of that. Hell again.
Oh my God.
Mighty. Good Lord. The
Andre the Giant's decision not to receive treatment for his acromegaly condition ultimately shortened his life, while
It
also
was hard, of course, because he was difficult to get around. But he always wrestled. He had said he would never stop. He wanted to go until the end.
fans have imagined how different life could have been for Andre had he got surgery to treat his acromegaly. However,
Yeah.
Andre's stance was that if this was the size God wanted him to be, then that was the life he was going to live until his final breath.
You never know. Maybe tonight will be my last night. Maybe tomorrow will be my last night. So I don't make any plans. So just keep going.
Hulk Hogan admittedly wrestled for too long, and even though by the 90s he was essentially working a part-time schedule, the damage had been done performing the atomic leg drop for years in the WWF's rock-hard rings.
Yeah, bro. I don't think people understand him doing that for so many years. Of course, your hip, your back is going to be ravaged. I want to say there was a report, or I don't know how true this is, and maybe he talks about this in this video, but he basically ended up losing like some inches on his height because of doing this move so many times over the years, and because he had to get surgery and stuff. He ended up getting shorter because of this. So
all that pressure on the back meant the Hulkster would be in pain for the rest of his life.
I had a physical therapist ask me yesterday, if you could be out of pain, or you can have a perfect championship walk, what would you rather have? And I said, I'd rather have the walk. She goes, you're out of your mind. I said, yes, I am.
But yet the roar of the crowd
That's
was something
crazy,
Hogan
bro.
just couldn't give up. In 2002, Hulk faced more back problems after returning to WWE, which reduced his in-ring time over the next 4 years.
They said, oh, you can't wrestle with a knee replacement. I was wrestling with 2 knees and a hip replacement. At WrestleMania 18, I was dragging the Rock around the ring for a half hour.
But the Immortal still wasn't ready to call it a day between the
Oh.
ropes due to financial troubles brought on from his divorce.
It's amazing that even though I've lost everything else, I still have wrestling.
The Hulkster went on to work a few matches outside the Federation between 07 and 09 while his life was in turmoil. By the time Hulk stepped foot in the squared circle again, which would be for TNA in 2010, the condition
If it gets too bad, you break anything else, or you destroy your spine anymore, we need to do 3 surgeries. The big surgery that we need, you won't live through.
Sting using that,
Damn.
that weapon to spike Hogan now in the head.
Oh my God!
Oh, what a Pele kick that time to the back of the head of Hogan by Styles. What the hell? What's going on here? What the hell are we witnessing?
I've had 25 surgeries in the last 10 years.
Jeez.
So when people say, hey, the wrestling's fake, it goes right up my ass.
Yeah, bro. That's why I said at the beginning of this video, whether you like Hulk Hogan or not, bro. 25 surgeries? 25? To anyone that says it's fake, bro, go talk to these legends. They'll tell you. They'll tell you real quick.
After returning to WWE in 2017 and being put in a general manager role, Kurt Angle became inactive in the ring. This proved to be the beginning of the end for his wrestling career, since by the time he was working matches again, Angle had clearly lost a step, moving much slower between the ropes.
Yeah.
Trying to battle out of this. Again, a man who's
Yeah,
had major problems with
just
Baron
age and injuries caught up.
Maybe a step slower than he used to be. Orton completely. Oh, look out! Angle
Yeah.
slam!
The time away from the squared circle made Kurt's body go into an arthritic-like state.
And by the time they had me wrestle, I looked like an old man. Taking those 9 months off, especially at my age, close to 50, I shut down. My body shut down. The only time, the reason why I retired is because I was losing a step, and I could see it when I watched me on film. I didn't like what I saw, and I didn't want the fans remembering me as a broken down Kurt Angle. I wanted them to remember me when I was in my prime.
It was sad seeing him like this, since Angle had been the best in the world at one point. It didn't help that he was completely jobbed out in his comeback run, which ended in cruel fashion after being retired by Baron Corbin.
End of days of Kurt Angle. He got him.
Yeah, bro. I don't have a problem with new talent getting over, but what was it didn't even do anything for Baron Corbin. It was just pointless. I didn't like that, bro. I think he should have went out. John Cena, that would have been great. Anybody else, man? Fucking Chad Gable at the time. They could have did something, bro. That shit was ass, bro.
The Great Khali was past his prime by the time he made it to WWE. His knees were shot and he couldn't perform anywhere close to the level he had in Japan. Even though he was heavily protected in the Federation, he became more broken down, doing less and less the longer he worked there.
The size of an oak tree.
Yeah.
Look at this.
By the end, Khali was relegated to a lower card comedy act.
Both feet have to hit the floor. Whoa. And Khali just eliminated himself. Pressure in the mat. I'm trying to figure out what Khali's trying to do. By the way, Khali, it's not a match.
He did his best work in WWE back in 2006 and 7, and by the time he finally left in 14, fans had been fed up with him for years.
And Great Khali driving elbow after elbow, and Khali just stomping away the Undertaker. From the days of the great Andre the Giant, the bigger man, Khali's offense may be bowling too ugly, but it's very effective. That is a massive arm.
It's no fault of Khali since he was so limited given the shape his knees were in.
Khali could barely walk.
That being said, he was a ginormous star in India and got a lot of eyes on the product from this market. Throughout his tenure in WWE, it got to the point where non-wrestling fans from all over the world became aware of the Great Khali. The Undertaker lost his confidence after suffering a head injury at WrestleMania 30.
Oh man. Uh-oh, look out, Brock Lesnar.
Oh my God.
The Undertaker. Whoa.
I got hurt so bad. I don't even remember that match. Till today, I don't remember it.
He came back a year later working a toned-down brawling style that worked well, especially given his age and the fact Taker didn't have long left in the ring.
Show them who the you are. Last year, killed his name.
The Phenom was meant to go out at Mania 33, losing to Roman Reigns. However, the match went so badly, Taker kept wrestling in a bid to finish his career with a match he could be proud of.
Look out.
Yeah.
Oh, Reigns. Trying to overpower the Undertaker.
Yeah.
The Undertaker trying to counter, get his legs
this was so hard to watch. Yeah, he don't even want to watch it, and it's unfortunate, you know. But I do think he ended it off well with what they did. Him and AJ Styles, so good. I enjoyed that. I think a lot of people were like, you know what, we can live with that. It didn't happen in front of people, but it worked.
WrestleMania 34 could have been exactly that, as Undertaker trained hard, expecting a lengthy encounter, similar to that of his previous Mania epics. However, the bout with John Cena ended up being a 2.5-minute squash.
Snake eyes!
He looked pretty good there, bro. This nigga John.
After 3 stinkers on international shows, including 2 in Saudi Arabia, some fans wanted Taker to call time in his career once and for all.
They do this to the Undertaker! Oh my God!
He came inches, centimeters away from, breaking his neck.
But the Phenom remained in a continuous cycle of wrestling a bad match and then chasing the Dragon to finally finish on a good one. Following a tag match at Extreme Rules 2019, where he played his greatest hits, Taker knew he was ready to hang up his boots soon. His retirement came after the cinematic Boneyard match versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania 36. It was the Phenom's best showing since 2015.
Everyone had nothing but positive things to say.
Yeah, bro. Dog. That shit was good. Dramatic and unique Boneyard match enhances the Undertaker's WrestleMania legend, bro. That shit was good. That shit was so entertaining. It was good. It was perfect. That was the best way he could have possibly went out, and it worked. Yes, it was in front of no fans, but you know what? For what they did, kudos, man. Fantastic stuff.
And therefore, a suitable way to ride off into the night.
This time, the cowboy really rides away.
Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our similar video on 20 WWE wrestlers who absolutely hated each other in real life. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.
Hey, man. That was actually a pretty dope video, bro. You know, it once again, it puts things in perspective. Giving these wrestlers the credit that they deserve, bro. At the end of the day, they do all of this to entertain us. This is their job. So imagine you doing a job that you know could potentially shorten your lifespan and potentially mess up your body in the long run, but you still do it because you love it. Much respect to the wrestlers. Anybody that sits up there and tells you, oh, that shit fake, tell them go fuck off. Tell them go get in the ring themselves. They won't do it because they're not built like that. Most of us are not built to get in that squared circle and do the things that they do, bro. So comment down below. Let me know some other wrestling related videos y'all want me to check out. I definitely will. I'm gonna link down the original video down below. Y'all go check out Wrestling Flashback. They have so many dope vids. You can literally binge watch his channel. I'm gonna link it down below so y'all can go show him some love. Check him out. I appreciate all love, support. Road to 200K. Appreciate y'all kicking it with me. See you on the next one. Peace.